Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here, and Cardo have unveiled a new comms unit, the Custom, and I thought I'd quickly go over it as it looks kinda cool, but the math just isn't adding up in my head when I try and figure out whether it's a good deal. So straight up, the Cardo Custom is a mesh communication unit that means connecting up to 15 riders in a much more flexible manner than a traditional Bluetooth communicator, and with a 1.6km range or a mile, in the right conditions of course. Mesh is basically the next step up from Bluetooth that has primarily been seen on the higher end communication units, and like we've seen in the past, the Custom is also waterproof and carries the company's 2-year warranty. You also get music streaming and FM radio with the ability to connect up to a single device, say a GPS or mobile phone. What you don't get as standard with the unit is any of the following: music sharing, audio profiles, speed dial, any Bluetooth communications compatibility, the ability to connect a second device, voice commands, or echo mode. That's crazy, I hear you say. These are pretty standard features from Cardo, generally speaking. Well, yes. And of that list, the lack of Bluetooth compatibility means you won't be able to connect to any Bluetooth communicator. You won't even be able to connect to the old Freecom units. It only works with other mesh units. Now, Bluetooth is limited to connecting 4 devices and doesn't have the flexibility of mesh, so it's outdated tech, and we should be glad to be rid of it. However, if you've got mates who can't afford a new comms unit and they are on a BT unit, that's kind of rough. The Cardo Custom is $80 cheaper than the Cardo Neo too, which sits just under the top end edge for another $40, and includes all those features I specifically just listed as being missing on the Custom. So that's $269.95 for the Custom and $349.95 for the Neo, all in US dollars. But you can add all those missing features for $39.99 USD a year using their new subscription service, which will be attached to these devices. Yay, more subscription services, but not mandatory, as Cardo felt the need to clarify after people had a meltdown with the direction they were heading, with some even accusing them of aiming for mandatory subs, which isn't supported by any of the current evidence and which they've now vehemently denied. They've also spun the idea of the Custom as being this amazing new idea of being able to add features to your basic comms unit. However, that's a pretty creative twist of the truth. They've turned off all those capabilities. You're just paying an ongoing cost for a fully functional unit. The only thing the Custom really misses out on, if you're willing to fork out that extra $40 every single year, is the JBL speakers, which are actually standard across most of the cheaper, more basic Freecom X range. Based on the second helmet kits, retail value of those JBL speakers on their own is about $40 too. You don't have to pay the full $40 a year, of course. You can just do without voice commands like a peasant, or not have to worry about communicating with the lower beings who only have a BT comms unit. They're practically trying to communicate in smoke signals after all. If that's not the case, there's 3 tiers of subscription. Silver, for just music sharing, audio profiles and speed dial, which seems pretty useless on its own from my perspective. That's $19.99 USD a year. Gold adds universal Bluetooth and a BT bridge, plus connecting a second device so you can run, say, phone and GPS at the same time. That'll cost you $29.99 a year, basically for backward compatibility and to sync an extra device. Then Platinum adds voice commands and echo mode to that loadout, which is a nice quality of life addition, honestly. That's $39.99 a year to reach Neo level without the JBL speakers and no magic powers in the Matrix as far as I'm aware. The originals, not that resurrection tribe. These yearly prices are heavily discounted compared to the monthly costs too. Almost half in fact, no doubt aiming at making them appear extra competitive and enticing by comparison. But then the monthly prices are honestly a bit of a joke. The takeaway for me is that this might be a good choice if you'll never, ever use the subscription service. You get a bare bones mesh capable unit from a reputable brand that's waterproof. I guess it may seem a bit underwhelming to me as a Freecom 4 Plus owner, but that's subjective and also somewhat related to the pricing of both the unit and the subs. The other rider I can see this working for is people who heavily use their comm system, but only in a full function manner a few times a year, say on long trips away. You do 1 or 2 trips a year and only need to put a month or 2 during that time. Possibly a decent investment, if one that probably also doesn't really leave you ahead in the long run. But let's do a little math. No need to get your calculators out for this one. 2 years of the Platinum sub and you may as well have just bought the Neo, or even stretched to the Bold with that yearly discount. If you pay monthly, perhaps thinking you'll toggle it off and then totally forgetting you even had it active, that'll cost you $74 USD for 12 months and 13 months covers the entire upgrade to the Neo. Who hasn't forgotten an unused subscription after all? Anything past 2 years fully subbed and you just got finessed big time. Not as bad as me when I tried ordering stuff from AliExpress and it never arrived and I couldn't get a refund, but you still got played. It gets worse too. If you consider the JBL speakers are valued at $40 by Cardo themselves, take that into account, the actual difference between the Neo and custom units is actually $40, if you care about better speakers at all. Again, value is subjective, rider needs are individual, it won't be the same for everyone. Surely I'm not the only one who does this kind of analysis when I'm researching a purchase, am I? It's not that this kind of tactic is uncommon these days either. We're increasingly seeing digital upgrades, microtransactions, and subscription services rolled out as stupid consumers in other markets have fallen for these tactics and businesses have made bank. Motorcyclists are just the next target. In 20 years they'll be teaching why sell the cow when you can charge an ongoing subscription fee for the milk worth a cow a year at business school at the rate we're going. Actually, scratch that, it'll probably be cockroach milk or something like that. And to be clear, I'm not saying this couldn't be done in a way that actually benefits customers. There's 2 use cases I've outlined here where this may be a good or just okay choice. I just don't think it's been implemented because it'll save people money. That'd be a dumb business move, and the pricing just doesn't support that claim in my mind. It's done because people forget subs, and long term, it's money for nothing, which is why businesses love subs. Plus, with this kind of deal, you're beholden to a business, there could be price hikes, they could move features up between tiers, etc, etc. That just seems a silly risk to take. Even the GoPro subscription, which can pay for itself just in accessories alone each year, includes a replacement service for damaged cameras and online cloud services, and even that is pretty borderline in my mind, and I buy a heap of their accessories. Other examples are microtransaction in games. Many games now require ongoing purchases that are anything but micro to be played properly, and lock many achievements and rewards behind cash payments. And it's not like we're getting better games either. If anything, the opposite is true. Or when was the last time you tried to buy a non-subscription version of Microsoft Office? The yearly subscriptions now are the cost of the whole suite not that long ago. The standalone version quadrupled in price, and that's pretty normal. Or the KTM demo mode, anyone? Getting to pay extra for stuff you've already installed on your bike just to turn it on? Taking the mickey if you're trying to tell me we didn't already pay for all that when we bought the bike. Basically, don't buy into the hype. So think about how you would use the Cardo Custom, do the cold hard math, and unless it's exactly what you need in the base model, or you've got a very specific use case that'll bring you out ahead in the long term, maybe consider just buying what you actually need with no strings attached. Now, if Cardo had a capped price subscription service which totally unlocked the custom when you got to that specified level, I'd actually think this was a pretty cool idea. Like, you pay 3 years of the full subscription or $120 and your custom gets everything unlocked permanently. You're still paying extra for your poor decision making abilities. Cardo is up $40 or $80 if we factor in the JBL speakers that are missing, over just buying the Neo at least, and there was a lower buy-in for the cash strapped, which doesn't hurt the wallet too much in the long term. That's a win-win for Cardo and for riders. So let me know your thoughts on the Cardo Custom. Am I off the base here, and are they genuinely offering something the market wants the way they've claimed? Or do you think this is just a marketing ploy that's all about long-term profits? Maybe you're loving all these subscription services and digital upgrades these days. That's me for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there.